Alrighty, hello, I'm Lew. I wanted to share with you a few verses in Scripture, and it concerns food. What is food? Are dead, unclean animals okay to touch now? If they're dead and they're unclean animals, can you touch them? And can you swaddle them? Can you lick them? Eat them? A lot of these verses that we read about in Scripture, that they claim Yahushua declared all foods clean. These things were notes that were put in the side margins by monks that were put into the text later on, like the King James Version. What is food? What does Scripture tell us is food and what is not food? And does Yahuwah ever change? Would he ever tell us something is an abomination and then later say, oh, no, that's great. That's fine now. I cleansed that. It's a madness. But you see, the strongholds that we are facing are very, very long-held beliefs. And it's very difficult for people to change. As Gentiles joined the body early on, they were no longer Gentiles. They became part of the fig tree. But then later, as things became worse and worse, and there was the fiscus judaicus tax by the Romans, and then the Gentiles that had joined the fig tree and started to obey were being penalized with taxation because the Yahudim were taxed all over the empire. And that money was taken and put into the pagan system. Well, eventually the pagan system and the Gentiles that were in these groups they mirrored the behavior of the sun worshippers. That's part of what happened. And the Yahudim assemblies, where they were meeting on Sabbath to teach these ignorant newcomers the Torah and how to live and please Yahuwah and walk as Yahushua walked, they became more accustomed to doing what they were used to. And they assembled for themselves teachers that would teach them things that would kind of be a blend, but they were doing nothing that was in this book, the Scriptures. They do nothing in here, but they read it all day long. But, oh, you can't do that. That's back here. What? Well, let's read about what back here is about. It says, this is the way. You will hear a voice behind you. This is the way. Walk in it. Well, this is one of the voices that you're hearing right now. As the Gentiles joined into these groups, they became taxed. And then they were shunning that tax. So when you tax something, then you get less of it. That's basically a truism. So they started to behave more like the sun worshippers more and more. And they said, hey, I'm not one of those. I'm one of these. I'm with you. Well, the weeds overtook the wheat. Multiple Christianities grew up like weeds under various teachers, just as Paul predicted at Acts chapter 20. Read that. Misunderstandings created beliefs that were incorrect, and they became our traditions. Remember, the Gentiles will come from the ends of the earth in the last days and declare, our fathers have inherited nothing but lies and futility. Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 19, I believe. Here's what Paul wrote to Timothy in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verses 2 through 4. Proclaim the word. Do what's in the book. Be urgent in season and out of season. Correct, warn, appeal with all patience and teaching. For there shall be a time when they shall not bear sound teaching, but according to their own desires they shall heap up for themselves teachers, tickling the ear. And they shall indeed turn their ears away from the truth the Torah, and be turned aside to myths. Scripture tells us what food is and what is not food. There's a webpage I'll put up real quick here at the bottom, and you can go there and study a whole lot of other things that are related to food and other misunderstood scriptures. People don't hear, but Isaiah, or Yashayahu, chapter 66, tells us something very interesting. It's the last chapter in the book of what they call Isaiah, Yashayahu. And it says that those found eating the flesh of pigs and bats and rats and other abominable things will be burned up on the day Yahuwah comes to punish the disobedient inhabitants of the earth. Also read the same prophet they call Isaiah, chapter 24. It's serious. Christianity has been, in its multiple Christianities, has been saying, oh, that's done away. We don't have to obey that. But according to this, Yashayahu, I'm about to read, it's going to happen, and they're going to be there. They're going to be the ones doing the things that they're not supposed to do. Yashayahu, or Isaiah 66, verses 15 through 18. For look, Yahuwah comes with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his displeasure with burning, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword Yahuwah shall judge all flesh, and the slain of Yahuwah shall be many. Those who set themselves apart and cleanse themselves in the gardens, that would be farms, following after one in the midst, who eat the flesh of pigs, and the abomination and the mouse, are snatched away together, says Yahuwah. And I, because of their works, their behavior, and their imagination, am coming to gather all Goyim, Gentiles, and tongues. And there's much, much more that I could share with you about that, but I want you to go to that webpage if you have time, on fossilizedcustoms.com, and it's /food, FOOD.html. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next short video. Bye.